Welcome back to the Lovin Daily. Today's top stories, we're talking about talk of moving the UAE weekends to Saturday and Sunday has started again. We're talking about women in Dubai have started a Facebook group to catch shady partners. Also later in the show, we have the most inspiring woman I've possibly ever met, Raha Moharek, who is the first Saudi woman to climb Everest. She's going to be in studio chatting to us.
Catching shady partners. Oh my God, I'm excited for that one. But we'll be talking about, apart from that, we'll also be talking about how it is illegal for blue-collar employees to be working during peak hours in the UAE, and a reminder that students can obtain the golden visa for themselves and their families.
Incredible. More visas, more people. That's very exciting.
That is exciting. But Casey, before we get into our stories, I want to share this thing I saw yesterday in China. Wait, I'm going to say the name wrong. Guangzhou. The area in China. So this one lady was offered, she was offered compensation. Wait, I'm going to check on that. But she was offered like two flats, and in a posh location to move out of her long-term house. And because they wanted to make a highway over there where her house was, and the government, she kept refusing the government and saying, no, I don't want to, I'm not going to shift. So the government is just like, okay, then if this woman is not going to leave, we're just going to build a highway around her house. So in China now, there's a highway, and in the middle of it is this lady's house.
Wow. I've heard like so many stories about governments building big roads and offering people sizable sums of money or different locations to live to get them off the highway. And I don't know about you, it happened in Ireland all the time, and people took the money and they went.
Yeah.
This woman said no to the Chinese government.
For 10 years? Like persistently, no. And the thing is, they're like, listen, you're going to have noise pollution, you're going to have all kinds of pollution. And she's just like, well, I don't have a problem with the aftermath. And she's like, you think this environment is poor, but I think it's quiet, it's liberating, it's pleasant, it's comfortable. I mean, she is iconic. Iconic.
That's why is stubborn is a negative word. Why do we call her stubborn? A stubborn old lady from did
we mention the age?
A trailblazer, a woman who knows what she wants.
Miss Liang.
I don't know. I think like her house now is clearly going to be a tourist attraction, which probably negates the reason to build the practical road, which is quite funny.
I saw this news on Indian Times Instagram, and they also reported this on Mail Online.
Yeah.
But her name is Miss Liang, and let me just see like anything about compensation. Let me just do compensation.
So I think they offered her 2 flats.
So they refused her compensation from the real estate developer, but they did offer her 2 flats, and she's like, if I don't get 4, I am not moving. So she didn't get the 4 flats, and she's just like, I'm gonna sit right here, and it's like a grotto. Like if you guys, I don't know, go online and search the images, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, there is a difference. Is she stubborn, or is she just saying, no, this is my home, I built it, memories with my family, why should I move? It's a tricky one.
Would you? In her position, would you take the compensation? I mean, like go move to the 2 flats?
It's so situational dependent, but I feel like saying no to your government for 10 years when all of your neighbours have caved would be a very tricky thing to do. And my personality is probably more of a yes. I'm a yes person. Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'll take the money and dip.
But there was no money, Habibi. It was like 2 flats.
But any compensation.
Any compensation.
2 flats. I get one, I rent the other one.
Yeah.
I make money.
Exactly. And usually in this case, they offer more than the value of your house. Like I remember in Ireland, like people were getting millions for their houses and their land. But who knows in this case? Yeah. We don't know.
You would like drop your house like this.
Thoughts? Are you the trailblazing woman or the stubborn old lady? That is it. Someone says we have a distorted audio. We sound like cartoon character.
Oh no.
Not sure if it's our voice or who's to know.
Oops.
Let's jump into our top story of the day. A lot of your comments coming through on this one. Talk of moving UAE weekends to Saturday and Sunday has started again. So conversation online this week is rife with the suggestion that the UAE could swap weekend days from Friday and Saturday to Saturday and Sunday. Now, reports online claim that Friday could potentially become a half day or work from home day, so people can continue to observe Friday as a religious day, and the working week would then shift to Monday and Friday to align with international standard working days. Now, it's worth noting the government state news agency WAM, they denied these claims back in May, when rumours claimed that a switch was imminent. We also contacted the Dubai authorities for a comment, who clarified that a decision like this would be federal, not just Dubai, adding that they do not have any confirmation on it yet. But yep, taking up our conversations this week 100%. Two kind of prominent Twitter profiles are talking about it. It wouldn't be the first time weekends have moved. So it's just an interesting thought.
I was reading with the, you have something to say?
So when we see 4 days and a half?
Ali's question is very common to some of the answers that we've got at the weekend. He said, would we see 4 days and a half? No, you're still going to have 5 days. But Diana Enrique, she said, I repeat again, let's be fair, Friday to Sunday and all people would be happy. But that's just we're obviously not going to switch to a 4-day week. That's not happening.
Oh, can you imagine a nice 3-day long weekend? That's the dream. Someone commented yesterday, like, what is the worst that can happen? Let's test it out for a year and see like a 3-day long weekend. And like, let's see how humanity evolves with that 1 day off, like how many, things. I agree. But then another comment was also like, how about if we do move to a Saturday and Sunday weekend off, then we give Friday to people who have to go attend the Friday prayers, like a 2-hour break. And that makes a lot of sense. Exactly.
Most of the question was like, 1 or 2 hour break, or work from home day, or a half day were some of the suggestions that came through. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned 4-day weekend. Some companies in Ireland are trialing it.
Yeah.
Could you see the whole world switching to a 4-day week in the near future? Very unlikely.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, if it's what you want, you can work towards it, right? Like, you find something that allows for it. My sister has gone to a 3 or 4-day week in her job. People do like split. If it's what you want, you can like work for it, ask for it. People do split weeks.
Yeah.
Find a company that allows it.
It sounds too complicated, the whole conversation. But, I have some friends who work for US-based companies, but US-based companies, but it's here, so they have to work Sunday to Thursday, and then they have to work Friday as well. So for a lot of these people, not just US-based, but UK-based and India-based, I mean, wherever they have the Saturday, Sunday holidays, it's just going to make things much easier for them, I feel, because they have to put in their Fridays as well to get in line with the people
working days.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's worth noting that it's not the first time the conversation has come up, but also back in 2006, the days actually did switch. So the UAE shifted from a Thursday and Friday to Friday and Saturday. That was to move 1 day closer to international working weekends. That was followed by Oman, and then Saudi were the last in the Gulf to do it in 2013. It's not the first time the conversation has come up. It's not the first time that weekends have moved. But I think the question is the Friday is a religious day. So no official confirmation on that. It's just a conversation that's going online.
As for now. But anyway, we'll see soon what's going to happen. But apart from that, we'll move on to our next story. It's illegal for blue-collar employees to be working during peak hours in the UAE. Now, summer in the UAE has come into full force, and with that, residents are concerned about the well-being of blue-collar workers and construction workers, and the temperatures in the country are soaring to 43 degrees, 45 degrees Celsius on a daily basis, and there are strict rules put in place to ensure the welfare of labor workers. And one of them being that no employee should be working out under direct sunlight between 2:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. throughout the duration of summer, which is from June 15th to September 15th to be exact. Now, all midday construction activities are to halt during that time frame as directed by the Ministry of Human Resources and Amortization. The law also clarifies that labor shall not be present at the working site after 2:30 p.m. No business shall resume before 3 p.m. The employer shall provide an appropriate shelter for such labor to rest therein during this period. Companies caught breaching the labor working laws will be subject to penalties and suspension of their companies or assets. And companies that do not comply with the regulations can face up to fines of 5,000 per employee. So depending on the number of employees they have in their company, it's going to be 5,000 per head that they'll have to pay as a fine. So if you guys do see such breaches happening, such flouting of rules by construction companies and all of that, you can call the ministry on 971-680-27666 or 800-60 to file a report, or shoot an email to ask@mohre.gov.ae. So that's where you can report any things that you guys notice, or you see government, like construction workers working during this time period. Give them a call or shoot them an email.
So the time period that they're not allowed to work is 12:30 until 3
p.m. Yeah.
It's so hot all the time.
I know. Even that time frame, I feel like it's too short. But
well, yeah, I think the city is growing and there's so much construction happening. At least there's those few hours. But
this one guy commented on our Facebook. So this article went live on Lovin Dubai's Facebook and all social media platforms. So we got a comment there where someone is like, please, like he's requesting the government make sure, just to ensure that all transportation and buses provided to these labor workers are fully functioning and the ACs are working, because a lot of the times we do pass by and we see their windows are open, so probably the air conditioning is not working or whatever it is. I feel like that is such a big point.
Yeah, 100%. And I do feel like there's more regulation on these construction companies than there was before. There's now the option that if you see something shady, here are the numbers that you can call. Simran just went through them. So it's, let's say, of course, it's up to the construction companies to follow the certain guidelines. There is more and more regulation coming through, let's say, even in terms of their where they live, their accommodation. I know that there's more regulation introduced there. And also now that we as the public have the opportunity to get in touch, and we know that kind of the powers that be are looking more closely at it. That's great to hear.
That is, there are some companies who might be exempt from this, like such as workers completing projects licensed from governmental departments, electrical, water supply workers, communications, petrol stations, sewage pipes, and all of that. But the list of exempted companies and firms has not been released by the government as of yet. So now this just applies to everyone.
Okay, it's good to know that there's some exemptions in case like you see something, you're like, okay, I'm just going to make a call every second. Moving on, women in Dubai have started a Facebook group to catch cheating partners. I'm just going to show some quick notes here. Jumping into the story, as you probably know, dating in Dubai is a mixed bag. So back in 2020, we asked our audience about finding love in Dubai, and some of the love stories you shared were truly gorgeous. And we have them all in a video, which is in the article of this post. Some love stories in Dubai, absolutely incredible. However, on the other hand, Dubai has a very busy dating app scene. Mixed with a transient community, some people who are potentially unwilling to settle into a relationship, and many female-focused Facebook groups will tell you that story. They'll tell you that finding love in Dubai is very tricky, and they even share stories of encountering cheaters on their dating journey. So if you know anything about those, about interesting cheating dating stories in Dubai and Facebook groups, I think Facebook groups are an incredible way for people to share their stories with their online community. In many cases, these Facebook groups are heavily policed by admin to allow for this privacy and transparency. So we're obviously not going to share any particular individual cases. However, a new group has been created to help women figure out if the man in their life is a cheat.
You know what, women, girls? This is what we need. This is what the world needs. This is what women all around the world need.
I'm surprised you agree, Ali, because some people, some of the comments on this are like, putting that just puts kind of like a negative kind of approach. Like it's like you're jumping into this new relationship with like this kind of negative attitude that all men are stinkers.
I mean, I see that point, but you gotta protect yourself.
It's basically saying you need to do a background check.
Yeah, why not? I mean, in this day and age.
Yeah, because well, it also affects us guys trying to date, like going out on dates. It would make it difficult, and the other person won't really trust us until like they find a bit of information.
What affects you exactly?
Like the girl not having.
Notion. People are gonna go into it assuming it's one thing or you're one thing when you're not, just due to.
You know, like, okay, I think what they mean is when girls come in not confident of, then like not being secure about the guy. So if they do a background check and they know like, okay, this is what I'm coming into, that's what you mean, right?
Yes.
But how is so first of all, I should say that this Facebook group spawned from one particular cheating incident. A girl's at a restaurant with a guy, and then his actual girlfriend walks in with her friends. And it's not a singular story, because I think when that story was shared, lots of other people shared similar stories. But that's what social media is for, right? But the thing is, so this would be a very private way for women to be like, but unless you have all of the women on this group, it's not actually going to be that helpful. I don't know. But I do think social media is a great way to get a clear idea of a person.
Yeah.
If, let's say, raise of hands, if you're going on a date, do you social media stalk them before you go?
Of course.
Hands up, Ali.
Of course. Yeah.
I think everyone does that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really.
It's the norm now to look at their Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
But you can't really tell everything from their social media, because a lot, like, I put up stuff that I want people to see. I don't put up stuff that I don't want anyone to see, you know?
True.
So, I mean, it's just that outer thing you see, you're like, okay, is this guy cringe? Is he not cringe? What is his vibe like? Is he a vegetarian?
That's what's important.
Is he a Virgo? I'm joking.
But, yeah, I don't know. I find this group very interesting. And infidelity when you're married is not cool. Just think.
Yeah, tell him Simran.
100%. But I think some of these stories, like I said, it's such a mixed bag, this Dubai dating scene, because, like I said, we did ask before if you found love in Dubai. So many great stories. But also, I'm part of a lot of women's Facebook groups, and some of the stories of cheating. I'm not saying this is like a specific sex, but they're just surprising. It's shocking, the stuff that people think they can get away with.
But imagine if like the girlfriend, the actual girlfriend, and the person who the guy is cheating on the girlfriend with are on the same group. And that's where like, oh my God, oh my God.
Well, that's what they want to do. This is the background check. They want to help ladies out, women supporting women. Who is this guy? I know all about him. This is how it happened. But also, final point on it, if it's like, let's say for example, you have a bad experience with a guy, for whatever reason, some like couples don't work out, people are at different stages and couples don't work out, someone else puts up a photo, you explain the bad experience, and if that wrecks their relationship when it may not actually have any
I was thinking
benefit to their relationship.
Just right now.
Mostly, I mean, like,
that's one negative aspect though.
Like their ex, like exes always have, no, not always, but exes sometimes will have bad things to say.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want the background information from the ex because it's never going to be in a good light, maybe intentionally.
But I think it's up to the person. Like, if you have a good communication with your partner or like someone you could just speak, you know, like talk it out, have that conversation and just address everything and go into it all new. Yeah.
We're going to move on to our next story, but before we do, if you're watching on Instagram, we see your comments about the sound. We're trying to fix them, and we will try and fix them. I think it's an audio issue, but we are trying to fix them as we go through. But if you would like to watch the full show, please go on to Facebook, because that's where the full show is, with all our nice pictures. You can see nice pictures of ponies and dogs and animals.
Okay.
That's not true.
But some exciting news now. So this is just a reminder that students can obtain the golden visa for themselves and their families.
Awesome.
This is a new news, so we're not like gonna be all hyped about it. It's just a reminder that it's there. So the UAE government is reminding all that the 10-year golden residency visa will be granted to outstanding high school graduates along with their families. The initiative falls within the framework to allow the UAE to create an attractive attractive and encouraging environment for talented people. So if you're looking to sign yourself up or your kid down for this prestigious visa, then you can submit the application through the Emirates Schools establishment, and the visa will be granted to the following categories of outstanding students. Individuals who have obtained an average rate of at least 95% in their high school certificate exams from public or private schools, and university students from inside or outside the UAE who have a cumulative GPA of no less than 3.75 or its equivalent in specific scientific disciplines. Now, I am so sad I'm not a student right now, because I would have so gotten this golden visa.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Where was this when we were in school? Where was the golden visa?
Oh, it's so amazing for kids who are achieving. It's such an incredible mission, also challenge for them. It's like, okay, I'm doing well now. I can actually do so well for my family if I get this. So it's an amazing initiative by the UAE, and then it also encourages people once they graduate to stay in the UAE and kind of contribute back into the country. So it's so good.
So good. And there are cases like just last month we saw like 2-3 students getting the golden visa in the UAE. So it is happening. You can apply for it, and if you are one of those outstanding, overachieving front deskers, it's front benchers, back benchers and front benchers. Yeah, just go ahead and apply, and maybe you'll get that golden visa.
Do you mean is it because they're like
I'm being totally stereotypical with this, but like usually like those who are more overachieving in school, they sit in the front benches, and then people like who just want to sit and gossip.
I used to sit in front. I wasn't an overachiever.
Yeah, I'm sure you weren't.
We didn't have that too much of a... You kind of sat in the same place every day.
Yeah.
That was your seat.
That was your seat, yeah. But it didn't matter really, it would depend. I would nearly try and sit near the window by a radiator. That was kind of my vibe.
Next to the radiator.
Next to the radiator. Doesn't matter where the board or the teacher is, as long as I have that outside window, I can like take myself away.
But this is more of an American stereotype, you sit in the back if you're more laid back, and you sit in the front if you're more like studious.
Yeah, I'm imagining your school like an American high school.
I'm picturing my school like that. Oh, I wish it had a lot of drama, like American type of drama though.
Oh my god.
Like never mind.
Guys, please stay tuned, and if you're watching on Instagram, I urge you to go onto our Facebook right now, because up next, yesterday I sat down with probably the single most inspiring woman I have ever met. Raha Moharek was the first Saudi female to climb Everest. She shared how she overcame the stigma of being a female climber in Saudi, and also why families in Saudi are naming their daughter after her. It was a goosebump moment. Stay tuned, it's going to be on Facebook in the next 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Lovin Daily. We are joined by a truly inspiring woman who's shown us anything is possible. This is Raha Moharek, not only a graphic designer, but the youngest Arab and only Saudi female to climb Everest and the 7 summits. Welcome to the show.
Luckily, I'm not the only one anymore.
The first.
Yes,
I'm
the first, but so proud to say that I'm not the only one anymore. Yay!
Yes.
Shout out to Munishab. I love you, girl. She's climbing right now. Best of luck.
Climbing right now. Huge achievement.
Yeah, I'm so lucky to be able to hold that. I'm so lucky.
Amazing. And we'll get to all of the preparation process. I can't even imagine what went into that.
Oh, it's crazy.
To be the trailblazer. But first of all, we were planning to do this interview in the morning, but it got switched a little bit because you've just come back from traveling, which is something that you love to do.
I just came back from an incredible trip through Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana.
Amazing.
It was absolutely incredible. I suggest people who are looking for cool locations to go that have really good COVID facilities to A, contact me, B, I'm gonna give you to the best agency I had, which is Roar Africa, and then make sure that you do your due diligence and make sure that you are responsible. So we couldn't do it in the morning because I was waiting for my COVID test.
100%. But you told us this amazing story about being on safari and getting your COVID test. Like, this is how far things have advanced.
Yeah, so when you go with the right people and when you have the right mindset, you must do the test. Like you can't just say, "Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere." Literally, one of my tests was in the middle of the bush. Like the nurse, very lovely, came completely dressed, decked out, did the whole sanitizing thing, pop up, and I continued on. In Zimbabwe, looking at the beautiful animals.
Amazing.
It was incredible, but you have to take in consideration when you travel nowadays that you need to take the time to do that. But I think it's worth it. I mean, if you miss travel as much as I do, I think it's worth it. You have to pay the due of being responsible, but it's absolutely worth it. So,
and this is like one of those life-changing journeys. So
unbelievable.
You were in Zimbabwe, Africa?
Yeah, and Botswana.
And it's easy for Dubai residents to do it?
Yeah, it's incredible because there are really good flights. It's not really difficult, not many connections. It's really like, I think it's really underrated. Plus the weather is incredible now because it's winter for them.
Well, anything is better.
I mean, I love this
hot.
city. I'm from Saudi. I'm Arab, I can say this, but no one wants to be here in the summer. I mean, we love our country, but it's really hot in the summer.
Yeah.
It's like any other country. There's country in the world, there's good high season, low season. I personally suffer because I'm a very outdoorsy person.
True.
But I think traveling to neighboring places like Africa and other places is really underrated. So I advise you all, contact me. I'll set you up. And thanks to Air Africa for bringing me back in one piece, COVID-free.
And if you look at Raha's Instagram, you clearly love travel.
I
but that's a love, and another passion of yours is mountaineering. You mentioned you were the first ever. This is the first ever.
Before we get into that, I got you something from Africa. I got you a little lucky keychain. I got you guys something too. I didn't know how many people here, so I got you guys one as well.
That's amazing. Did you actually? That's so thoughtful.
Yeah, so that's from
guys.
It's a little figurine. Yeah, so keychain.
Okay, so not only incredibly passionate, athletic, inspirational, also very thoughtful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now I can go into the cool stuff. I mean, Africa was cool, but now into my journey per se.
Your journey. Yeah. Can you just go right back to be the first ever Saudi lady to tackle Everest, to complete it? Bring us back to mountaineering for you. How did that start?
When I look back now, it's been like 8 years, guys. Like when I look back now, I'm like, what?
8 years? Did you say?
8 years.
Okay.
Coming up now.
Should be longer. Like for me to get to the top of Everest, it's taking 2 decades minimum.
I did my whole climbing career spanned 4 years only, something like that. Not long. Like the serious climbing 4 years. But when I look back and I look at the videos, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I literally have this, like I get, goosebumps. And I'm actually leaving tonight. I'm traveling tonight.
Of course you are. It's amazing.
For the first climb that I will do in a long time, because I kind of like hung my boots and I got invited by Swiss Tourism to come and climb the high peak in Switzerland. So I'm like, yeah, in the women's team. So I was looking at all my gear and looking back at my history, and I was like, what was I thinking? But I'm so proud of it because it really changed my life, and it literally put me down the path I've always wanted to go down without even knowing it. I've always wanted to be a travel, curious person who goes up. I emulated the people who went people who went in the jungle. I emulated these people when I was little.
How so? What do you mean you emulated them when you were little? That sounds adorable.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is the dream. Like I was looking at them. You know how some people look at actors and some people look at models or singers. I would like look at these amazing people in these channels, these shows, and I'd be like, this is what I want to do. Like
it's in your blood.
It's tiny, and I remember my parents used to have to help me carry the encyclopedia book down from the library because they were so big.
Wow.
And I would like just go through pages and pages, like very slowly reading everything about the world. So when I look back, I kind of always was meant to do this. But when I was doing it, I couldn't grasp the magnitude of what it meant to be the first from the region to be a mountaineer athlete and an adventure traveler this way. A female, might I add. I keep forgetting to say that part, but yeah. A female.
And
sorry, I keep forgetting it because I look at myself as like everyone else. But it has really kind of catapulted my career into being a spokesperson for women's empowerment and for male and female who want to go and travel and explore, because if I can do it, anyone can.
And it's just showing people everything is possible.
Exactly.
So you say how did the career, let's say 7 summits that came first, and then Everest, what type of preparation are you doing? Are you fit naturally? You must be.
I mean, my parents will tell you, like, I was born with energy. So I was, this is me tired. Like, this is me, like, I'm really hyper, and I'm wired that way. I'm one of those people that goes like all day, and then when sunset comes, I'm like,
interesting.
Yeah. But as a child, I've always wanted to do these things. I've always wanted to travel and explore. It manifested into mountaineering because of negativity. I'm going to explain. When I decided to climb mountains, when I decided to go and climb mountains, every time I told someone I wanted to climb this mountain, I was perceived to be nuts. But they're like, oh, but you're a Saudi girl, but how can you do this? And that negativity was the boost I needed to say, I'm going to climb these mountains, because it really insulted me, and it enraged me in a way that nothing else, it really...
That just was the fire under your passion.
Like, who are you to tell me I can't do something just because I was a female from a region? Like, it really bothered me, and I'm sure many women and sometimes men face as well this kind of stigma that you can't live something or do something because of who you are or where you're from. So that was the reason why I wanted to climb my very first mountain, which was Kilimanjaro, and that kind of gave me the love of Africa, I guess. Because it was my first one, it's my first mountain. And Kilimanjaro kind of opened my eyes, and not just these eyes, but also my heart, to a world that I never knew existed, which is adventure travel and mountaineering. And as I started like, I'm giving you like everything because so much. As I started to climb, I realized that the best mountains are the ones on the 7 summit list. So the best in terms of easy to get to, price-wise, even though some of them are super expensive. And safety are the 7 summit list. So as I was starting to train and climb and get into mountaineering, I realized that I might as well do the 7, right? Because I kept doing one after the other, and I'm that kind of personality. Like, when I start something, I have that kind of just go. And it kind of gave birth to a new person. I mean, I'm the same person, if you know me, since I was the little girl. I'm the same kind of character, but not like it kind of made me believe in myself and the ability of doing whatever I ever dreamed of doing after I finished the 7 summits, because
what cannot you not do?
You know what I mean? How could you? I went to the 7th continent. My dad always jokes. He's like, I told her not to climb mountains because he started the whole drama. He was one of the loudest people telling me no. And now he's one of the biggest supporters to me. And he always says, like, she climbed all of the mountains, all 7, all mountains, to prove a point, which is true. In a way, it was my way of wanting to kill the stereotype, wanting to like elevate myself above the stigma, the box. And I ended up falling in love with mountains. I ended up falling in love with who I am up there, even though it's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. There are days where you like don't shower for a long time, and you don't. The bathroom situation is a bit difficult, ladies. I admit. But yeah,
it's not pretty. 100%. There are challenges. There was a story in 2019. I remember seeing the Everest photos of just the crowds lining up. So, and there's a crowding issue on Everest, and now they're really trying to regulate it. So, when you climbed, was there a crowding issue, or what challenges did you really face?
So, a quick, brief history on why there's crowding on Everest, because many people don't understand this, and I love telling people this. Everest only has a very short window of climbing. Actually,
during the year, season.
The whole year, seasons. It only has 1 season to be climbed and a very small window. When I mean very small window, I mean days. It has days. And you can't just, wake up in base camp and be like, I'm gonna climb today. You can't just do that. You have to acclimate, you have to be ready. Your team has to be ready. You have to have, so many, moving parts for you to be, you can't just be like,
is this seasons based on the weather, not based on what the government is saying?
The government bases on the weather, because we can't control the weather. So you have days. You have days where hundreds of people want to climb this specific mountain, and obviously everybody wants to climb on the best day. So let's say if you have 100 people, just to make it easy, and I'm terrible with math. So let's say if you have 100 people and only 4 days, you know, or 3 days, you're going to try to split the people depending on the day, right? Or if you have 10 days, then you know 10. But if you only have 2 or 3 days, then you have minimum 50 or 60 people one day, and you know, then you have a, you know.
And these ledges are tight, I imagine.
Tight, and some of them are like this wide, like this width wide, and you literally hug the mountain at some point, and you're tied, you know. You're tied here, beautiful sky, down there you go to God. So like, it's not easy. So you can imagine like the situation.
Wow.
There's a reason why it's called the highest graveyard in the world, because there are people who have lost their lives there. So because of that crunch, it can be a bottleneck, and only one person can cross at a time when you get to the legendary Hillary step. Because it's like shibir, like I don't know what to call this in English. It's shibir. I don't know what it is in English.
Teeny tiny?
I have some. It's small.
Yeah.
So you can't, you know, put 5, 6 people one at a time can pass because it's dangerous. So that's what causes the bottleneck. And then you have issues of people's speed climbing up and down the mountain. Because if you have a slow person, then it makes everybody slow.
Wow.
You can, of course, cross them at some point, but it's not really advisable. And it's also rude when you climb to cross someone without asking their permission. Don't do that.
It's a massive mental challenge you must be experiencing.
And you're cold. And like, I get cold. Everyone makes fun of me. I get cold in Dubai in the summer when I go to the cinema. I'm like freezing.
Yeah.
I don't open the AC. The cheapest thing I have in bills is chiller, because I literally don't open the AC. My family calls me the lizard because I would rather be hot than cold. And then I went and climbed the highest mountain in the world when it's like 45, 50. It's freezing. It's painfully freezing. It's like it burns you. Oh, it's uncomfortable.
I can't even imagine.
I remember I was so uncomfortable and tired that my lashes were hurting me. Like that's how tired I was, and I was like, what's wrong with my face? And then I realized that like the goggles were on for too long, and then I developed like ice.
Wow.
It was like really hurting my eyes, but everything hurts you. You're not meant to survive up there, so you're literally dying at a rapid rate. But that's why it makes it so alluring. Like
people want to complete this challenge. But in terms of like all of the preparation that you're doing, let's say for example, if you're really cold, you know you're going to have like the best warm clothes on. What's like a piece of advice that you give to people that people may not know? What's a piece of preparation that we may not know about?
A few. So first is maintenance throughout, because you know a lot of people don't know this. It takes you 2 months to climb Everest.
What?
Yeah.
And it's all an incline. For 2 months.
So again, quick information. I should be a science. Quick thing. You physically.
This is so new to me.
Because a lot of people don't know. You cannot physically, as a human. Let's say this is a human. This is the amount of oxygen you have in your body. You cannot physically go from here to there without your body imploding, because you have less oxygen. Like you suffocate. So what do you do in order to prep your body to go up to altitude? You stress your body. So let's say this is base camp. You start at base camp, you go up, you sleep up for a little bit, stress your body, come back to base camp. That's how you double the oxygen. And that goes on throughout the 2 months you're there. Some days you go up to camp 2 or 3, sleep there, go to base camp, touch it, and then go drop all the way down to Nanshe Bazar. That's when you triple and quadruple your O2s.
Wow.
So it's a process. You physically cannot go from here to there without, again, going to Rabbana. So you cannot do that. It's dangerous. So you really need to take the time to do this. So it's 2 months of like, yo-yoing up and down, which is really beautiful. And it's not, you're not walking in the Jumeirah, It's really,
Here, I can imagine. I'm not running off to do it.
Because a lot of people are like, so what? I'm like, it's not a 5-star.
No, I'm imagining these climbers like up and down. You have to be so passionate, so dedicated to make it happen.
You beat yourself, like it's tough. But that is why it takes long. And then after you get ready, that's not even discussing the training you put into getting to the mountain. It takes you a long time to get there. And a lot of people, I love how I'm like the go-to person for anything crazy in the region. I love that. I get messages from all over the world. When people ask me, where do I start if I want to be the mountaineer?
Good question.
The stairs. Start with the stairs. Start with hiking. Start with walking. Familiarize your body with being uncomfortable. I would advise as well to, find a nice fitted backpack, good shoes that you've worn already so that you don't get blisters, and walk in a treadmill for 6 to 8 hours, see how that feels.
So these are all amazing ways to kind of prepare for hiking, mountaineering. Yeah. It's all physical. What about preparing mentally? Do you prepare mentally?
Yeah, so, I have seen, pro guys, like super fit athlete guys, cry on the mountain because they have I've seen it. Your body is what gets you to the mountain. Your mind is what gets you back. 100%. You want to be comfortable. We are, as humans, that's how we have evolved. We want to be comfortable. So you'll start, oh, my knee hurts, and then you just, mentally, it's really difficult. It takes a lot of mental power. And I developed this thing where I call it autopilot and not chasing the rabbit down the hole. Autopilot is when I'm really hating myself, I go somewhere else.
Interesting.
I'm usually at the beach. Like I get a
really. Yeah. Are you like the ocean's coming in? You're smelling palm trees.
Yeah, everything. Like
interesting.
I'm from Jeddah. Like it's in my blood. Like salt water is in my blood. I'm a beach person. So whenever I get to that point, I just jump in the water, or I like to. I'm a movie buff, so I like to replay fun scenes in my head or make movies in my head. But you need to learn how to have a good rhythm. But it's practice and it takes time. Sometimes, if I'm lucky and the climb is not super dangerous, I can put one earpod in and listen to books. Yeah. So that
so you don't have to concentrate.
Yeah, and I pick the most complicated, like layered character book. Like one of my favorite books was like War and Peace by Tolstoy, because it's like so many characters. Another one was like a very complicated saga of 14 books. So autopilot is very important. Not chasing the rabbit down the hole is also very important, because everything will hurt you. But you need to manage it. Like everything will start with your back starts to hurt. I used to always get bruises on my I don't know what these are called. I used to get bruises here and in my hip bones from the bag, and they really used to hurt me. And I used to always get toe bang, which is absolutely painful, where you bang. It's called toe bang. So you literally bang your toes. And I think because I don't play any sports in shoes, I play beach volleyball, my toes just go. Like I lose my toes. They came back, Mom. My mom always tell people they came back. They look pretty. But they're very painful. And yeah, so don't chase the rabbit down the hole. Because you really can go. And I think, are my parents okay? Is my family okay? Did I turn up the heat? Like,
of course.
You can go through that. Like, those are very important. Another super important tip is never start walking hot. Pro tip,
what does that mean?
Never start. When you start in the morning, when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready to start on a hike, never start hot. Never start feeling hot. Start cold. Because if you start hot, you're going to move, you're going to get more hot, and you're going to overheat, and you can collapse. You can get a really bad reaction to that. So even me, who is always not comfortable in the cold, I start cold. Because this is something I had to learn the hard way. So I want to be cold, I want to be warm all the time, but no. Start cold. Start feeling.
I'm taking all of these tips for my 10K run on Marina. Me and you, Ali. It's going to happen. We're going to go on autopilot. We're going to start cold.
Trust me. This any sport that you don't have the luxury of stepping out, changing. You need to be comfortable in what you start with.
Sure.
And a lot of people do the mistake of wanting to be comfortable and wanting to be warm, but you will overheat. So take a layer out if you can, or vent if you can, but never ever start a hike or any kind of sports activity feeling hot. You will overheat.
Guys, these are seriously top tips from a pro, and they're not the average ones, so it's pretty great. Talk to us about climbing being a male-dominated sport, which is changing. What would you like to see more of in years to come in terms of females entering the mountaineering industry?
Not just mountaineering, in any sport field. I think until we stop referring to sports as female football or female basketball, 100%. Until we stop needing, because when you say football, you immediately go, male. until we stop having that stigma, I think sports doesn't have equal, piece of the pie as male and female. I think in general, not just for mountaineering. It's even, I think, more complicated for mountaineering because it's not really a sport that is viewed like a football game, because it's more of a personal thing. So until we negate that, and we just, when someone says football and you ask which one, I think that's when we've reached equality in sports, and that's everything like pay, airtime, sponsorship. But personally, in my journey, and I started mountaineering, like, people don't really know this, but this is a while ago now. I don't want to give my age away, but like, this is a while now. I'm one of the old generation. Okay. But I started before it was cool. I started mountaineering before it was like, hey, I'm going to climb a mountain. So I faced many sexism and also a lot of stigma. I just like,
even you mentioned your dad was against at the beginning. How was it overcoming the battle with him? How much of that was a battle to convince your family that you wanted to do this? Because people look at it as a dangerous sport, right? Yeah. So you're not just convincing them that you want to do something that's against the norm in Saudi. You're also convinced. That's their response, right? So how did you overcome that with them?
So my father was a special case because I really cared what his opinion was. Half of the people, the other more than half, who didn't like what I did, I didn't really care what their opinion is. But my dad, I care for his opinion. So it was a very nuanced dance of a battlefield. Like, I would lose a battle and then win another battle. Like, it was a push and pull between me and him because I really cared about his opinion, and I could have not gone without his blessing. No way. I can't do it. Like, I love him so much, I could do it. So I had to like send him emails and like woo him into accepting that I want to be an adventurer, not just a mountaineer, an adventurer, because that's what I do now. My poor dad now doesn't even ask the country or the city. He said he always asks, what continent are you on? He just is like, which continent? Oh, okay. Like, he just wants to check that I'm near or far.
Yeah.
He's kind of given up, but it's a great testament to his evolution that he has become my biggest supporter. He's my biggest cheerleader. And it's amazing because your story being amplified and shared makes it easier for the next and the next and the next. And I always say this. I say that what I'm so grateful for, I'm grateful for many things, but one of the things I'm grateful for the most is how my story has stopped becoming my own and has kind of become like a beacon and a positive light for everybody who wants to be different. There's probably little girls in Saudi right now not getting the power presentation, but showing your dad your Instagram and being like, look, if Raha can do it, why can't I do it? I have a collection of baby pictures and birth certificates named after me. So I get random people taking pictures of their babies and their certificate and saying, we're inspired by you and we named our daughter after you. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm not a very mushy person, but this gets to me. And, of course. Like, little babies. And then it's been, now they're 4 or 5. So they, they grow up and they send me videos. Hi, Raha. And I'm like, oh, I'm blessed to be able to do what I love and get recognized for it and make a difference. I can't ask for anything else. It's amazing. It's really great. Can you possibly, what's next? If you've done Everest, you've done the 7 summits, is there something next that you want to challenge yourself to complete? Look, I've always lived my life wanting to challenge myself, whether it's big things or small things. And when I was little, and when people ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would always say happy, or an astronaut, or like a fighter pilot and a fighter ballerina. Like, I always have this like thing. But in essence, honestly, I want to live a life that when God, inshallah, God gives me like a long life, I look back and I'm proud of, and I can have a good legacy, and that I can leave behind. But if you ask me what's like the tangible dream I want, and Mama, don't freak out. Every time I say this, she freaks out. I want to go to space. Amazing. So every time there's like any kind of... Love that. Yeah, I apply to everything. Every time I'm like, hi. Richard Branson, I hear you're off to Virgin. Because it's been, I think I was 6, really tiny. I saw the launch of, maybe younger even, I saw the launch of Discovery in live as a child. And I'm like, wow. And my mom was telling me that there are people in it. And ever since then, like, my birthday had like the shuttle Discovery and the moons and the stars. So it's kind of like everybody wants to go to space. So maybe one day, with all of things evolving now, I'll be able to get me a ticket. Well, I don't want it to be a one-way because I need to see my mom. Poor lady. My mom and my dad and my siblings. But would love to go if there's a chance, even if it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Well, I wish you so much luck on your dream, and I literally have no doubt that it's something that you will achieve.
One day. With everything that's happening now, so many different, avenues and so many different directions.
In the UAE, if you're an Emirati national, you can apply every year.
I've been here for a long time. Consider me a daughter of here. Like, I've been here for like 20 years.
You've heard it here first. The petition begins now. We're going to get Rahma Mahar to space. The truly inspirational, makes me want to get out and maybe do a little bit more exercise in my life. Rahma Mahar, thank you so much for your time. Burst of energy. I feel the positivity. Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Daily. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands.